Hi, this is Kristen here. Welcome to another process video. And today I'm working on day number 13 of 31 days of cut files. I'm also playing along with Rainbow Crush, which is hosted by Tara over on the Paper Snob. I will include the information for both down below, so that way you can go and check out other people who are playing along, or if you would like to participate yourself. And so the cut file for today is actually one that you can stitch on, which I thought was really cool. And I'm just going in with some shading here. So this is archival ink and some kind of black. I don't recall what the color is, but it is a black ink. So I fill in the clouds, and then the sun part I'm gonna actually fill in with Distress Oxide, and that's in Scattered Straw. And so the challenge with Rainbow Crush is Tara will give you a color formulation each month, and you have to use 75% of your layout in that color. So it was black and white this month. And so I was kind of racking my brain with this. I was really a little hesitant as to whether or not I could make this challenge work with the cut file and with the black and white. I don't have a ton of black and white. And then I wasn't sure if I could, work in the cut file so that I was meeting, doing both challenges at the same time. Sometimes that's kind of, it's difficult to mesh the two, but I feel like it's great to kind of expand your ability to, and your knowledge with scrapbooking. And so I went ahead and stitched both the sun and the clouds just in yellow and black thread. And then I'm going to use the Spectrum Gardenia. This is from 49 & Market. And I actually want to get another one of those papers because I do like the back side of it. And then I'm also going to pull in some pieces from Simple Stories, and it's their Simple Vintage Essentials. One pack is ephemera, the other pack is like floral bits. And then I'm going to be scrapbooking this picture of my son jumping in a puddle. This is a rub-on from 49 & Market. And so it came out of this, I think it's called Sunburst. Which was a very beachy theme, but I did find that, I thought that was perfect, black rub on there. And then I'm going to pull in a couple of these pieces. Those are from 49 & Market, except for the Right Now arrow piece that was actually from another collection from a different company. I also was considering getting some of that washi tape worked in there. That was from Simple Stories, but I end up not. And then I might pull in some of this Cedar House. And I actually do end up getting a couple of those pieces pulled in. And like I said, I don't have a ton of black and white ephemera. But as soon as I saw that the challenge was black and white, I immediately thought about this paper from 49 & Market. My intention was to use the other side with the kind of that sunburst effect on it, and I had tried to see if I could have it work with this, and it just didn't. This side looked much better, so I might try to buy another, if I can track some down, and buy another piece of that paper because I really want to use the other side. So I decide I'm going to put the picture up at the top with the cut file down below it, and I just fussy cut around the cut file off screen too. So I'm just trying to audition some pieces here and start to figure out how I'm gonna lay this out. I was gonna do multiple pictures of my son, but the other couple pictures I had, they were closer up, a little bit more blurry, and I just thought that it was just one of my favorite pictures of him because it just kind of captures that childhood innocence of just jumping in a puddle and having a blast. And I had went ahead and changed the filter to sepia. I just thought it looked really neat. I tried it in black and white and just felt like then it blended in with the black and white elements of this layout. So I left it as is, and I just love the shot, and it was caught with my iPhone. So anyway, so I'm starting to work in some of these florals, some of these sayings. That one piece over to the right hand side says every summer has a story, and then I think I end up moving the splash zone. I did have it up here, but I end up moving it and moving that little heart piece off to the right hand side. So again, I wasn't super confident that I was going to be able to pull this layout off. Just because, again, I don't have a lot of black and white ephemera. And then, like, I knew I was doing this cut file, and I knew it was like a sun with the clouds and things like that. So I'm like, am I going to be able to really get this worked in together? And I have to say, like, I just ended up really loving how this layout turned out. So I end up tracing out everything once I've got it all, kind of layered, and I decided to go back in with the same archival ink that I'd use on the clouds to kind of shade around where all my pieces of ephemera are going to be. So anyways, I wasn't super confident I was going to be able to pull this off. And I have to say, like, really with these challenges, especially when you're combining a couple of challenges, it has really helped me to expand, and I feel like, and get so much better in my scrapbooking. I was not before a huge social media person. I belonged on some Facebook groups, but, didn't do like a lot of, I didn't do Instagram, I didn't do YouTube videos. And then I kind of decided, like, one day, I don't know a lot of people that actually scrapbook. And I was always like watching scrapbooking process videos, and I felt like they really helped me. So I decided to jump on and start kind of participating a little bit more in challenges and things like that. I'm telling you, I have to say it's really expanded my skills and really changed some of how I view scrapbooking and the way techniques I use and things like that. So I think it's been immense, and I've met so many nice, positive people. It's been fantastic. So I end up backing the cut file with some foam, and then I think I've gotten most of this glued down. I didn't want to make you have to watch, since I didn't change any of those pieces really. But I do decide I wanted to add another flower down here at the bottom, just because I kind of felt like that area was a little, it just looked to me like it was lacking, like it looked like it needed something. So I decided to work in another flower. And this is where I decided to move the splash rub on. So I'm going to move it down here. And I think I end up moving that heart up so you can see the heart's up at the top of the photo now, and I just felt like that splash part made sense there. I also am adding in some butterflies. Butterflies are like my go-to for like as fillers. I feel like they're great spots to like kind of fill empty gaps and hide mistakes that you've made on your layout, if so be it. So I really love butterflies. I add some Frazzle down to that tag at the bottom, and then I just staple it on. That Frazzle is from a Color Rush kit. I'm not sure which month it was, but so here is where I start to get some of that cedar house pieces worked in there. So I'm gonna add this camera, and then I will add this thumbs up in here. And then I end up going with this arrow pointing, saying right now. I also add a butterfly up here. And then I go and dilute some acrylic paint down with water. And then I'm just doing some splatters all over the page. I did consider adding in some yellow just to make the sun make more sense. But I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to leave it as is. I think it's really neat to see that one pop of color. And then the whole point, the reason why I kind of did the sun bright and the clouds dark is because, he's taking advantage of a day that was otherwise kind of a gloomy, ugly day, and taking advantage of and finding joy in the day and jumping in the puddles. So, and then of course that little circle back behind the sun perfectly describes kind of the look of this, is that he was living in the sunshine at the moment. And so here are a couple close-up shots. I appreciate you for coming by to watch another process video.